Hey everyone, welcome back to week 7 of my Etsy journey here on YouTube, where I am documenting and sharing my process. My name is Marriott, and over the past few weeks, I've been sharing my process as a new Etsy shop owner, being a busy mom, having a full-time job here in Canada, and working on creating a reliable, steady income stream. No fluff, no quick promises. So today I would like to talk about 3 things that I wish I knew before starting Etsy. I'm definitely not claiming to be an Etsy expert. I'm only a few weeks into this journey, but sometimes when you're new, you notice things that experienced sellers sometimes forget to mention. So if you are thinking of opening an Etsy shop or you're just getting started, hopefully this would give you a realistic idea of what to expect. Let's get into it. So let's talk about time expectations. The first thing I wish I knew before starting Etsy is how much time everything actually takes. So when I first started, I thought the majority of time would be in the creating of products, the actual designing, the putting things together, the aligning, and the fonts, the colors, etc. I did teach myself Illustrator, the basics, and I do use that to create certain elements and items that I need. Mainly, I use Canva to create the digital products that I sell on my Etsy shop, and that suits me very well. But what I've learned, and I want to share, is that creating products is one part of the process. You also have to research the keywords and write listings and create mockups and optimize titles and tags and design the product images and monitor your shop and keep learning new skills. So this, especially in the beginning, took a lot of time because I was learning. I was teaching myself, I was using Google, I was using the internet, I was trying to teach myself a lot of things without spending a lot of money on expensive courses, etc. So the process is different for me, and it might be the same for you or different. Now, the other thing is I also have a full-time job, which is my main focus during the week. So most of my Etsy work happens on the weekends, sometimes on weekdays in the evenings if I have a little bit of time and I am in a good creative space to get into this, right? So progress has been slower than what I thought or what I expected. So at this stage, I'm at 7-8 months. I've got a certain number of sales, a certain number of listings, but I definitely thought I would be way somewhere else, right? So just to keep that in check. And I've learned that it's consistency that matters more than speed. So what matters for me is showing up, is putting in a consistent amount of time. It might just be 2 hours a week, but every week, right? And that shows. It's like a snowball effect, and it's amazing. So even if I spend just a few hours at a time working on my shop, those hours add up over weeks and over months. So if you are starting an Etsy shop while working full time, just know that it's completely normal for growth to take time. Completely normal. Second big thing, competition. So, when you are thinking about starting Etsy, like when I was starting it, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many people selling, right, on Etsy. I liked wedding products. I liked baby products. I liked certain things, but I was like, there's so many people selling it. Like, is there space for me? What can I create that is different? Would people buy? When I started researching on my niche, I thought the market looked incredibly busy, that there are thousands of listings, there are well-established sellers, right? Everyone's got like fabulous reviews and so many sales, and who's going to buy from me? So that was very, very intimidating. And you start wondering, like, is it even worth trying? Because there I was trying to learn everything, fumbling around, trial and error. Certain things in the beginning didn't work, so a lot of time, right? It's a learning curve. But then I realized that there is room for everyone. And me, with my little shop and my sales that are consistent, right now we're over 50 sales. I have more than 50. It's not great, but it's not zero. So that's the key, right? There is room to grow. There are products that I know do well, don't do well, but it's good for someone and someone's buying it, right? So that was very important as a lesson for me. And I also learned that personally, I prefer slow, steady, consistent growth. I know a lot of people like to focus on creating it immediately and let's go from 0 to 10,000 in 1 week and let's have ads and let's spend money on ads. I don't subscribe to that view, right? For me, I'd rather build gradually. I prefer consistent sales personally over these huge spikes and then slow periods. So a stable foundation feels more sustainable in my mind. So if you are looking at your competition and you're feeling discouraged, just remember the goal isn't to be like everybody else, right? The goal is to create products that will connect with your customers over time, and you will keep improving. You only get better as you keep showing up. So remember that there's space for everyone, and you do have to put in time and be consistent. Okay, let's talk about the learning curve. I wish I knew how much there is to learn. I'm still learning every week. There's always something new I'm trying to figure out, right? 1 week I'm researching Etsy SEO and tags. The next week I'm learning how do I improve the product images. Then I'm learning new Canva skills. How do I do this? If I want to create this font and it needs to look like this or this color, can I put this into this circle? Even with YouTube, I'm constantly learning how I do an A roll, a B roll. I didn't know that before. So, it's a lot of, do you enjoy doing this? Do you like learning new things? Can you put in a little bit of time, right? And we're so lucky. We've got everything available at, in your hand, on your phone, on the internet. And in most cases, it is nearly free. So why not, right? Every time I think I understand something, I discover there's another way to do it, or there's another area where I can improve. So the good thing is that learning becomes part of the process. And instead of getting frustrated with it, I have just learned to look at it as an investment. I'm investing the time in myself, in my skills, and every new thing I learned has the potential to improve my shop, improve my sales, and improve my future, right? And most of these skills are useful outside Etsy too. So we're talking about design skills, marketing knowledge, content creation, SEO, editing. They're valuable skills to build, and they come in use in your daily life, in your job, in things that you can help out with. Why not? So if you are new to Etsy, don't worry if you don't know anything yet, or rather if you don't know everything yet. Nobody does when you start, right? The important thing is be willing to keep learning. That's the key. So those are 3 of my biggest things I wish I knew before starting Etsy, because I had this dream. I was looking at something and I was like, can I do this? I want to build something that is sustainable, something that can give me a reliable second stream of income, right? And I want to build this slowly in the background. So number 1, it takes way more time than you think. No problem. Number 2, competition isn't a reason not to start. Number 3, the learning never stops. So even though I'm only a few weeks into this journey, these lessons have already changed my perspective quite a lot. If you are building an Etsy shop, let me know in the comments, what has been your biggest lesson so far? If you're enjoying following this weekly Etsy journey with me, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you next week for another update. Thank you for watching. Remember, keep dreaming, keep doing. You got this.